Let's get it. Come on, watch that.
Hello and welcome to the Geeked Out Podcast. Today we'll be starting off with our general small talk, getting into the shows that we're currently watching and loving. Then we'll move on to a little more heavier topics such as the writer's strike, the current atmosphere of movies such as DC, Marvel, and new video games that we're excited coming out. Hope you enjoy. And as always, we'd like to put a general spoiler warning here just to get everybody aware. Any of the shows that we're talking about, we typically talk about the most recent episodes, if not its completion. So if you hear a show that you're either wanting to watch, in the middle of watching, or just starting watching, plug your ears and run as fast as you can. Alright, and hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the Geeked Out Podcast. I am your host, Marcellus, and I'm joined with my co-host here,
Guy, your boy. Yo, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. When it comes down to anime, I finally watched that Hell's Paradise for you.
oh my god, and what did you think?
This shit is crazy. Like, just from episode 1, I was just like, what is happening here? Like, they're trying to rip this dude's legs apart. Like, trying to chop this dude's neck off, and like, nothing's working.
Trying to assassinate this boy, and nothing's working. I'm like, what is happening? This man wants to die. He's like, hurry up, kill me. And they're like, man, we're trying, my boy. Light this man on fire. Lights him on fire. No effect. What? Cut this man's head off. No.
It's just ridiculous. It's just, It's a great show, though. I liked, even, I will say, from everything I've watched this season, this is gonna, like, correlate, but the way that they were going about, like, showing the characters' backstories and, like, having the fight scenes in between, I was like, man, this feels, like, so basic, like Naruto. Like, where it's, like, the old Naruto fights, like, every time you get into a main fight, it's just like, oh, let's give you some history about these characters and fight, like with Zabuza and Haku.
Well, yes and no, because like I do feel like at least at the beginning of it, for the first few episodes, you get nothing on anybody else, and it's like they really don't dive into it until you get on the island, and then they're like, okay, these are the people that are actually going to be alive for the duration.
Oh yeah.
And even then, you lose like a couple of hitters, and you're like, yo, what is going? Like literally, the fact that as soon as they landed on the beach and shit literally just popped off from there, and you're just like, yo, it was literally just nonstop from there. That entire season.
Even then, like I knew that was gonna happen. I was like, oh, that's way too many people.
too many prisoners and stuff. Like, yeah, no, people are going wild out. And of course, everybody had the first plan of like, yeah, I might as well just take out everybody else and then take my time looking for the thing. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So we're just about to have an all-out brawl, and then they flip the switch on you again. I'm like, hey, yo, wait.
I was just like, man, like, I didn't expect it to get this deep. I really didn't.
Fast.
Like, judging from just the start of it, it just comes off like a little bit campy.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like a basic thing. Like, it's just be that basic thing, and then it's not. It flips on you twice, damn near 3 times in one season.
Literally in the first season, it flips the script so many times. You're like, yo, this is a whole different show now. Hold on.
But I'm thoroughly excited to see what that next season is going to be like.
Oh my god,
and beyond that, let's hit up this one real quick. Bleach this season.
Oh my god. First off, just beautiful. Yeah. Can we anime? Well, before we even get into that, can we just like mention on the fact that the state of anime and animation in general, even when you want to talk about like cartoons and whatnot, is fucking amazing right now. It's so crazy how good quality things are looking and everything. Like, I don't care like how you feel about like the writing and all that thus far at the moment, but like as far as like looks goes, Jesus Christ, we are in like a golden age of like animation right now. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's just the worst part is it's just going to get better from here.
Yeah.
Like, so next 10 years, we'll be talking about it again. I think what I like the most is it feels like they're already in a place that we're trying to get the video game community to be in. Whereas like the indie games are doing it constantly with almost every new indie title we see. We see like new leaps being like just pretty much smacked out of people's faces when it comes down to just how great the artistic work can look. And it's like, oh man, the foundation for this one, like the art direction here is just somewhere else. And like I said, leaving the last episode, everything else, AAA stuff is just like realism as much as you can get down to it. It's like, man, y'all really need to get a little bit creative. Seeing these shows, like if you've seen the Star Wars shows that came out on Disney, those one shots.
Yeah.
Yo, amazing. I was like, yo, like we need to just see some new works, bruh. Just drop all the generic stuff and just bring out some creative nonsense, man. That's all animation fans really want to see out of it at the end of the day. Like you can have a great story, but if it's visually compelling, all you need is a good story.
Like you would need a good story, like because like it varies when it comes to like animation versus like actual movies. Because when it comes to like these TV shows, if you're gonna put something like super realistic on screen, it better have a good story. Otherwise, what am I watching right now? But when it comes to animation, you don't even have to have a good story. I think Demon Slayer has a trash ass story, but that animation fucking carries.
Okay. I can vibe with you on that. I don't think it's trash.
Okay, I won't say trash.
I think it's very common.
Basic. I think it's a basic, bland story. Like
okay.
And especially if you take out the fact of the actual effects that's happening when you put in the fact that in the actual world those things aren't actually happening. That's just like what their mental aspect of what's going on versus like this is like their actual move. So they're really just doing sword attacks. If it wasn't for like the actual visualization and the animation, the fights themselves too would be booty.
Hey, but look. That's an artistic direction.
Yeah, no, it definitely
is what it is.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's just carried by the art.
Yeah, very much so. It's definitely carried by the art, which I really like. Which kind of promotes the point. Like, is if you're just showing us something that's unique that we haven't seen before, and even if not just those two things, it just blows our mind with how delicious it looks. We'll watch it. But at the end of the day, man, I'm loving the creativity. And the versatility as well. Like I remember when Disney first launched their Avengers shorts, where they were just showing us these random episodes of just different things happening with like Avengers members, and they were cartoons. It was animated, and I was like, "Is this gonna be their new animation style? Like, is this what they're doing?" Because I kind of like it.
Right.
It took me a while to get used to it, but I kind of like it. And I'm really excited for that new X-Men. I just want to see it.
X-Men.
I just want to see it.
Ready for the
Yes,
movie.
it is.
Yes.
It's my favorite comic series. Period.
Well, hopefully, because they've since the X-Men movies and all that came out, they've had their chance with other teams like the Fantastic Four, which just can't get off the ground, no matter how hard they try. I mean, honestly, I think the first iteration was pretty much the best one so far, in all those. But like, still, yeah, they just haven't caught that fire. But no, before we get sidetracked, yes, the Bleach anime. Absolutely beautiful. As we've already talked about, he is just the character design in that show and manga is just amazing. So every episode, being able to see extended fights and different abilities that you didn't get to see in the actual manga, and actually seeing them alive and beautiful animation too after all these years. It's exactly what it deserves. Especially this final season.
I'm so happy about it. Like, don't get me wrong, just like most of Bleach fans, I wasn't the happiest about the way the manga ended, and nobody I think was extremely ecstatic about it. But being able to just see finally at least it gets a chance to finish. Yep. I'm just happy about it.
And it's
every
episode
we get, I'm happy.
Because even though where it ends, the way there is fucking crazy. Yeah, it's just, and that's all it's been this whole season. It's just nothing. Both parts so far, it's just been nothing but straight gas.
He said, adding fuel to that boy. It's just burning and burning. The flame, it's growing. And I just want
and
more.
fought for real, for real.
No, and that was a complete manga. But it's like, yo, we don't even need you.
Exactly.
We don't need you in the manga
right
either,
now.
to be honest.
Like,
shoot, Kenpachi carried that thing for a whole year as far as concerned.
Yes.
Like, we saw his training arc, and all we wanted to see was Bankai.
Yes,
that kid.
Waiting for that boy. It's like, I need to know. What have you unlocked? Where's this boy? Let him out. Let him loose.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see it. I'm happy that the younger generation at the same time will be able to see this stuff because they grew up with it maybe, but they didn't get to see it like we did. It wasn't at this hype. It was pretty much talked down upon, and at that point, dropped off from the top 3.
Because everybody wants to bullshit it because of this filler, but then you got people who sit there and watch fucking One Piece. I bet you could literally count the episodes of filler in One Piece compared to the Bleach seasons, and One Piece would still have more filler episodes. Just because it's over 1,000 episodes.
Naruto had more filler episodes, and they just didn't care.
And then on top of it,
at the same time, it's the fan bases.
Some of the filler seasons were fire. Now the filler episodes,
I really didn't. Yeah, but that one was crazy. But there was one about like a rogue, rogue Soul Reaper. No, I think yeah, and it was a guy, the light Zanpakuto, Nijugasumi. And I was like, oh man, he just like put like this light dome around people, and he was like it was like pretty much made of his raid suit, and nobody could crack it, and then Kenpachi shows up and just takes it and just destroys it. And he's just like, but Ichigo wasn't getting through that, bro. What happened? He's like, yeah, I just took my patch off. It's like, man, come on, bro. And I was like, that was actually the one I remember that I liked. I also really enjoyed the fact that their side seasons did what I thought Naruto's did best, which was just give us more for the side characters.
Just give us a story.
I love just seeing what Chad was up to. I actually really liked going into like those sub arcs where it was just school life. I enjoyed that sit down parts. Like, it was fun.
Good,
I didn't always enjoy the Naruto. I did enjoy those few moments because we didn't get them all the time. They were just in between arcs.
And then like a lot of them just didn't matter in my case. But like I feel like even in like the side arcs, you get so much more out of so many characters that you wouldn't typically would have. Like I said, I always bring up the fucking the Zanpakuto betrayal arc where the Zanpakuto all become corporeal and have physical bodies.
The captains and stuff in the Soul Society.
And turns on their users and everything. I'm like, yo, this crap is deep as crap. Everybody's getting their own like Ichigo inner monologue, inner demons, the inner struggle and all that. I'm like, yo, this is amazing. Getting to see like, all their forms and everything, the sword, them come to terms. It's pretty much like a freaking Persona season for Bleach.
Yeah,
I am
you.
Wild. You are thou. I was like, yo, this is
I art thou art I. We are going to establish this new bond, or you shall get thy ass whooped. And it's like, jeez, man, those seasons were fun. Exactly. I enjoyed Bleach. That was my first favorite anime for a while. There was like a lot of other stuff I was watching, but that one to me was solidified as my favorite.
Once you hear
a lot of stuff.
Once you hear number one, there's no going back. In all honesty, like like the people who chose that soundtrack knew exactly what they were doing for that show. Because like Jesus,
the first 10 to 12 openings and endings are almost all bops.
But it's
just like Naruto, they were almost all bops.
OST, same with Naruto. Same with Naruto as well. Especially original Naruto. Like some of the just village music I would definitely just listen to.
I had what was the one in from the Bleach OST that I had? I wish I could. No, I know it. Just give me Invasion. There you go. That one was my shit. I would just listen to that while I was playing fighting games all the time.
Fucking Aiden's theme.
Aizen's?
Yeah, Aizen's. I said Aiden. Oh my god.
Is that the Clavar la Espada one?
No, not Clavar la Espada. His is Senseless, something like that. It's the one that's like it does. It's pretty much chanting the 5 senses and all that.
Dang, I forgot all about that one. Dang, I was shoot, man. Nothing can be explained is just the main one for me. Number one is crazy because it was just always on.
And it was just a bop on top of it, like just like who would have thought in an anime you would have got something that wasn't like Cowboy Bebop or some shit.
It was like, geez, bro, chill out.
A show about a ginger, and you're telling me you got the most soulful hero music.
Oh man! And then another thing, because this is gonna branch into our next topic when we get there. Man, and it just really sucks. We never got good games for that. Never got really good games for Bleach. Like we got some decent ones that came out like the DS.
Soul Reaper,
what Resonance?
Yeah, Soul Reaper Resonance. That was actually pretty hot.
But those were like, okay. So you know how you got games like Super Story Draft, right?
Yeah.
It's a quick game. You get through it. It's dope. Great cinematics or great visuals. One of those two. In that game in specific, both. It's just amazing. But that game felt like that, but smaller, lower budget almost. Like I had more fun in my Dynasty Warrior games at that point in time than I did playing that game. It was Bleach, which is the reason why I wanted to play it and I enjoyed it. But as a game, it just wasn't there. And Bleach had potential for both fighting games, the game that we get like Shinobi Strikers, like arcade fighting games. It had strength for that. There was one that came out on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, there was the one that was like
that was in Japan only.
That got that got his final Getsuga Tenshu form.
That amazing games that we just never got a chance to get, but it's because I guess the original games just never got off the ground.
Yeah,
like the Naruto games were exploding on the DS
in the US. Because Naruto, like Dragon Ball and Naruto, are like the two biggest ones that, especially as far as like the US marketplace went, just really blew for us. Final Fantasy, of course, especially once, and then Kingdom Hearts, of course, because Disney. So that was like genius. I don't know if they, because at first it's just like, why would you do this? This what makes you want to meld these two worlds? And it's like, oh yeah, marketing.
Yeah.
It's like literally all it is marketing. It's like, how can we best integrate the Japanese gaming culture into the Western audience? Well, why don't we take one of their biggest animation companies and just put it in one of our games? Would that work? I mean, honestly, you know what? We're the Japanese. It's so crazy, it might just work. Literally.
Yeah, I was just about to say. It's just ridiculous how that stuff. I just wanted more. Like, I didn't need these games to be like copies of other Naruto games. I didn't need them to try and like games that were already succeeding just to put another game on top of that gameplay style.
But like, how do you redefine a genre in that case? That's the whole thing.
You don't,
because like,
and not even that, they all might not belong in the same one.
Yeah, because I mean, you're right. It might not be like like Bleach might not be a fighting game type thing. Because like, I guess my whole thing. Well, I mean, I feel like it could be. But, like, I guess the main thing is trying to figure out how to do... I mean, I guess you could still do...
I thought, just to throw this out, I thought Bleach would have been an amazing MMO. Like, create a character, work your way up to Soul Society, have
choose
every person gets to pick their own, like, district. Yup, everybody gets to pick their own commander and captain that they're under. And then those are, like, going to be, like, the wars or the massive PvP moments would be like tournaments that are held between like different captain regiments, and it's just like, yo, who's gonna win, bro? Who's gonna win? And it's just, I would have loved to have seen something like that, but also at the same time, this stuff like that's hard to balance. Stuff like that's hard to do.
And then, like you said, like the show just wasn't having that much as, like I said, it was one of the original big three. I don't care what nobody says. That was Ichigo was talked, but that was one of the most popular shows, and still holds up today. Gosh. And then,
but I ain't gonna lie, when it was gone, I was thankful because then I got to watch stuff like Fooly Cooly. I went to go and watch older shows, so that's how I ended up watching all the Samurai Champloo. That's how I ended up watching most of Cowboy Bebop. I enjoyed watching Inuyasha repeatedly over and over again, 4 episodes a night, but. It was just, it opened up after Bleach was gone because I just needed to fill the void with something.
Has anyone ever finished Inuyasha?
It's gone. I have like 3 times.
I feel like I've always seen like a majority of the episodes, but I've never seen it in like a full like watch through.
Adult Swim put that on in order, by the way.
Oh, I know it's in order, but not like I was catching every episode.
And I caught every single one, bro. Like I would sneak onto the TV and get in trouble to watch that show. I did not care. Subtitles on, volume low.
Now, like I said, I've seen the majority of them, and I've seen, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've seen like the full, like last season and all that, but like I've never seen like the full Inuyasha thing in full. Like I've gotten like because I did go through at one point, I know, like in high school to get like the main gist of like, okay, what is this Kikyo shit going on? What the whole like what their actual relationship is? Because like there would be times where I would come in and then like he's with her, but then there'd be times like, okay, no, she's dead. Okay, no, that she doesn't like him. Okay, no, he loves her. Huh? And then it's like, okay, no, I have to figure out what the fuck is going on here. And it's like, yeah, okay, y'all going through it. Right? That's pretty much all it is.
Kagome!
All that shit is wild. But no, still a lot of dope things happen through it. Fucking Tetsaiga. The best episodes of Wish Shomaru were there though, for sure.
Oh yeah, Sesshomaru. I really loved. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yeah. I loved how Naraku was just that nigga all the time. you're not beating him. He's always gonna come back. It was crazy.
Cause he's always on some bull. It was like it was funny too because like he exploits the exact same weaknesses every time, and they just never get better. Every time he's like, oh, we know we can have the monk suck everything up. Oh, here come the poison wasps. I guess not.
He walked around with them boys on consistency. Like that's the crazy part about like watching the show straight through. You just see how after he falls for something once and then gets out, comes back, never falls for it again.
Oh yeah.
And they just become like staples in the show. After like season 1, he's carrying those bugs around everywhere.
Yeah, he's got them ready. He's got them at the ready. He's like, oh, okay, bet. Yeah, I got something for you, and kept it for him the whole show.
Yeah, when they introduced that mirror that reflected abilities back to people, that thing was OP as hell when it first showed up. Couldn't use Windscar, his only good move.
Mm-hmm.
Bring that boy back. Every fight he was in, that boy was back until he learned how to get through it. It was back. I was like, yo, man, this show is always awesome. And it just has the drama in the ass almost constantly. Like if they're not cool with each other, it has to show up in the fight. He's like, I didn't want to save you from that. That's why he got bonked on the head. And he's like, Kagome, help me. He's like, oh, so great. Old school rom-coms.
Love it. Love to see it, honestly. Yeah, no, that old rom-com anime aesthetic is definitely the shit. Like
it's missed.
Yeah, those are like, yeah. I can like view Kagome's room already, like in my head. Those were honestly the best episodes with her going back and this nigga just popping up to check on her and stuff.
Oh yeah, and her brother.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see the reboot? Really well, not the reboot, but the the one with their kids.
Following one with Sesshomaru's kid and Inuyasha's kid and him. Yeah. I saw like the first few episodes. I didn't want to follow those characters, if that makes sense.
Same. I did not care. I was like, that's nice and all, but can I really don't. I really would just prefer to follow some. Like I was like,
I felt like
I tried to give it some time, and I'm just like, I really just don't care about you.
Yeah. Did you catch the feeling that they came on too strong?
Yes, it was like it was what really got me is that like they really tried to just like put them on us. Like it was just like, okay, well, everything that you knew and everyone you know is just kind of gone. We're not going to explain why and just going to put everybody in here. And we're not going to explain anything on them as well, so you just go ahead and have fun with that. And it's just like, okay. And then like a few episodes in, I'm just like, this is just not hitting.
Yeah, it was something about the way that the characters came together.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like really fast.
Yep.
And then the moment they started traveling together and the story started to pick up, then it started to feel like it was just too much of a contrast. Like the I can't remember what her name was even at this point,
Mm-hmm.
but she had like a suit on. I'm like, what are you wearing? I'm like, it's contrasting a little bit too heavy for me. Like the schoolgirl outfit, this is them trying to do like the schoolgirl outfit with Inuyasha's like cloth, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I get what you're doing here. It's the same, it's that Tarzan and Jane thing. I get what you're going for, but this is not hitting for me.
Yeah,
you ain't doing nothing in that outfit, bro. I need you to get down and dirty. Rip the bottom of the pants. Rip the sleeves off.
Get in there.
Get some scratches, bro. Get in. Like, it just didn't that like visually.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really interested into it, and then also the characters didn't compel me at all.
Yeah, no, the character writing, I was just like, okay. I mean, cool. The plot and all that was like, okay. And like, I don't know, yeah, just like the character motivations of like how they were like getting their inspirations and whatnot. Was just like, I don't know if it was because it was just a mainly female cast, so like, it might just not be for me. But at the same time, I watched the fuck out of Sailor Moon, so I feel like I should have some room to say like, I don't know, this just ain't it for me.
It's hidden. It's not hidden.
Oh my gosh, but yeah, speaking of beautiful anime, Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. Have you been on that?
Of course.
Oh my god.
Like, I'm so on Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm reading.
I read up until the Shibuya incident.
Oh no, I'm caught up, my boy.
And like, I want to say, yeah, no, because I was reading it at the time when that was coming out. So like, at the time I had got all the way to the, what's happening in there, in the ceiling, and a little, yeah, and what happens all during that. And I was just like, oh, this is hype as fuck. And then I had to take a break. I was like, I need to build up for a little bit because this is crazy right now. I can't sit through all this. This is insane. Because I had saw a panel for hidden inventory, and I was like, okay, no, I need to read this. And I had read through all of hidden inventory and all that. Got to the Shibuya incident. I was like, oh, I need it. I need it. This is crazy. Oh my god, this is so crazy. Oh my god. What's her name? Who's about to go off? I can't think of her name right now, but yeah, this next season is about this season already is fire. So the last fight with Gojo and all that.
Oh yeah, him using Hollow Purple.
Yes, Hollow Purple.
Yeah.
Him awakening and everything. Him just pulling up in general. I remember when I was reading the manga, and I was like, he just looks down. I'm like, ain't no way this man pulled up.
It's just, man, it's the way they do spectacle in that show is just so good.
Oh my god,
it's just so good. I haven't felt anything this good since like Dragon Ball Z back in the when a character shows up or you just see a certain face, you just get hype as hell.
Oh my
like
god,
two characters are fighting and you're just like, just in it. You don't have any words. You're not saying nothing. You're just in it.
And then another one where like the animation is just so clean. They make the fights feel so strong. The sound design is so good as well.
All the time. They throw hands.
I love the sound design.
Hands are back.
Yes, hands are being thrown constantly, and I love it. It's another that like sit back and plan BS. It's like you're in the middle of a life or death situation. You just got to do. Yeah, so yeah, this season has been, and it's crazy too because it's a flashback season. So in most cases, it's where anime fans are like, "Oh no, not a flashback! And you're telling me it's a whole season of this? Are you kidding me?" But no, this is there's no complaints here at all.
No, because everything's worse.
Yes,
everything is worse.
It's like, oh my god, who is this man? This is who's that? Oh my, he is doing what?
It's just the writing, man.
writing. So like this is the show is definitely the character and like the character writing for the characters are what's really like these people are interesting. And like it's seeing that shift between the perspectives and everything from like from what you obviously from here from the Zero movie and then now with the past. Oh my gosh. I'm like, yo, y'all is out here writing right. This is crazy. Hey, got 3 different time points. Killing it on all fronts. Everything matches up, makes sense, and it's like cohesive, and it's like nothing's like that's not. I feel like nothing's like not. There's nothing unnecessarily put in. It's just like everything has its intention until once you get to it or whatever. And like and I feel like it even, especially even with like the movie and whatnot, it's just like I feel like you get so much more depth between the characters, regardless of being the ones you haven't seen yet and whatnot, or the ones that were just like in the movies or whatever. You actually get like depth of those characters or whatnot into those relationships, and it makes it hit even harder once you see in the show.
Yeah, well timed. Like them, when I heard that it was gonna be what the movie was gonna be when it was coming out a while back, I was like, oh, that's gonna be really nice for people who've only seen the show. And they're gonna get to see this on the big screen, and it's gonna hit right home when they see the next season.
Yeah.
I just, to be quite honest, because let's just be honest, we didn't see all these great anime coming in, like in just a little bit amount of time. We got like Attack on Titan, we got Vinland Saga, we got Demon Slayer. It's like we had all this, and now to top it all off at the end, we're finally getting that Jujutsu Kaisen to pay off.
And Bleach.
Like, man, and Bleach. Like, it's just, but Bleach is just too much.
Oh my God,
it's too, like, the last few seasons, it's just been something good to at least watch every single time.
Yeah.
Like, I was even watching Gundam last season. I was like, yo, man, I don't know what's going on with this Witch of Mercury vibing right now.
Yeah, no, they're working their animators to death, but damn, if that blood animation ain't good.
No.
Speaking of
working people to death. Yep.
I'm glad we're on the same thought process because we're gonna go into the writer's strike, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Though it is a terrible thing to see, especially with the implications of technology and AI and everything. It should be like a good time for humans, like we were talking when we were talking before privately. We were talking about AI and everything, and how it could be like it could actually be beneficial in the long run when you think about like things in large scope of like, oh, if you do like AI farms and whatnot, where you have like farms that can literally mass reduce and like make the best quality and checks for those things. They have sensors that you can put in soil to check like the nutrition levels of the soil and everything. So like imagine like the levels of like you create a smart farm that can like now produce on its own like 24/7. You could essentially like get things to the point where it's world hunger is like obsolete because now you have things that you can just generally produce things so regularly, and especially if you make it more eco-friendly with like solar power and everything, and now it's running itself on top of it while being powered by nature.
Yeah. It has its benefits,
but where it's at now is like a very weird area because we're on like still on that forefront where the people's skills are at in danger. That's the biggest thing with like the writer's strike. I mean, you even have it with artists and everything, with even musicians now with like the voice AIs and everything. Pretty much nothing safe. Like,
yeah, it's no holds bars, no regulation on anything AI.
There are regulations being implemented at least by like individual entities like companies and what have you.
Yeah, but they ain't stopping the internet from doing the internet.
Like I even have at my job, they've implemented like AI rules and such. Because like yeah, it's a new form of technology that's like can be dangerous, and then also it's like it's still in a very, I don't want to say beta form. So like you
Oh
said,
yeah, it's still a baby.
Since it's so and since it's such a powerful tool at that, it's very hard to like regulate anything, and to say like what's not even necessarily what's good or what's bad at the time, whatnot. Because like you said, it could be a useful tool for things like, I mean, I've seen already, for instance, games where they've implemented AI, and like you can literally talk to the game. Like remember we've talked about these things where like, in a game where you could actually speak to the character and they could respond, or on like even a simpler matter of like just being able to put your real name into the game and the characters actually being able to say that in game. Like it's groundbreaking stuff. So like it's very interesting on like the concepts that it could like really pull out. But it's like you said, since there's no real regulation to anything, it's very tough to celebrate or be excited about these things, because it's very much so endangering the livelihood of pretty much any artist or creative in general. Anything that,
and that's like a that's a big that's a actually I think a really great point. What I hate the most is like the opposite side of the spectrum. What's going to happen on like before we even get there, like the contracts that are involved, the work ethic that is involved. Like the reason why this is even happening, right, is because people were getting like contracts where they were being brought in for a day, being scanned, having their faces scanned, their voices taken, and then just not being called back in. Like you're here for one day, so we can take this from you and use it forever. It's like that's ridiculous. Are they really getting paid to be used constantly over and over and over?
Even before
was that one payout worth that?
Even before that, with the freaking what was it? The holograms that they do of like of dead celebrities that put on like a whole show and like got them performing and whatnot, and they were dead and gone. Like who is that money going to and everything? Like who like what right or position can you be in to even be able to do that? Like I feel like it's one thing when it comes to like maybe like world leaders and such of the such, where you have like, okay, yeah, this is what throughout history, this is what they're known for, or whatever. Like you go into a museum, this is what's going to be written on the plaque anyway. So like having them say those things is one thing, versus having a public figure or like a celebrity who has like intellectual property rights to like these things, that wasn't a public servant or something like that. They were just a person with a skill who shared it with the world, and now they can't even, I don't want to say they can't rest or whatnot, but like now you can monetarily gain from them without them even seeing a dime or whatnot.
Or their family or whoever owns the rights to that.
Like it was already bad enough where you got people like models or whatnot, where when you're in like the lower forms of modeling, where you get paid just to take the picture, and then they can use that picture and like mass produce it on whatever, this, that, and the third, and you get your little lump sum, and then they get to go off and do whatever with it. So it's a very weird and dangerous place to be in right now. I mean, let alone like the more dangerous aspects of it, of like things like you can pretty much get anybody to do or say anything, and how do you check the validity of it? Like currently, it's not the best thing right now, but like very soon, it can definitely be way better. So like, what's going to happen in that aspect becomes what comes of like viable evidence now in that regard. Like how do you
those things are going to be difficult from here on out.
Yeah, it's going to be like, so let alone just this writer strike that's happening now, there are like a lot of implications this could like really have effect on. But at least with the writer strike that's going on now, currently they did just get a big donation from a couple of big celebrities who all donated, I believe, $1 million each into the foundation to help those writers who are, might have to wait out until their rent isn't paid and all this because of their crazy ass producers.
Like small time actors as well, because actors started backing them, I think, sometime last week.
Yep. So you got
and so now I think they said it's the first time in history both the writers and the actor association, they're both on strike at the exact same time.
And it's for pretty much. I mean, yeah, they have to because it's literally for the same thing. You can't have one without the other. You can't. I mean, it wouldn't be fair to be asking for. Oh yeah, you can't steal my likeness or whatnot. But yeah, those AI written scripts and whatnot, that's fine. Whatever. I'll just act whatever. So.
And it needs to start from the bottom anyway. It's like, I know it's not. I don't mean this in a negative way, but these people are like, they're the smaller time actors. They're the ones who get maybe 1 or 2, 3 lines. They're the ones that walk around in the background, that sit in the screen and maybe only talk when you come to like a restaurant scene in a specific show. They're the one at the bar. They're the girl that bumped into her. That they may not be the main star, but that's their likeness. That's their body. You shouldn't just be able to put that in a whole nother show. Yeah, or a whole other movie. Or IP
without them being involved, like you said, these are small time actors. They only get so many parts and whatnot, and and on top of that, so much screen time at what point. So for them, it's very important to be able to get those points and get more time on screen to hopefully get those bigger portions. But now you get it to where you come in for one day and you pretty much they've got what they need for you for the next 5 years. So what do you really see from that or whatnot? And where does it end in that regard? So essentially, you just have pretty much whole shows that are pretty much run by scrolls. It's like, these are all variants.
AI disguised as people.
Yes. It's insane. Like, literally, if you've seen it.
Don't even get me wrong. Like, I feel and I understand the temptation as a business to get that out of the way. But that's the thing. That's why it's good that people are actually communicating and they're able to work stop that. Because if we can get this bottom line, if we can get this settled here, it makes it a lot easier for them as they move up the ladder, because then they can start building on top of that. Whereas we run into those issues at the base, we fix those, so now let's see what we're going to run into as we move on with the show. What are we going to start running into while we're filming? Maybe they reduce our hours while we're filming so that they can continue to do the rest of the AI still. Are those going to be like concessions that we make? Are those going to be assumptions that we make? And actually trying to lean that into our trying to get reforms made? Is like, what are we going to do here? How are we going to set this up? And how are we going to move it? We got to get that base set done. We got to start talking about it now. Because they're already, the companies, they're going to do it. No matter what. They've been doing it with Star Wars, especially big companies like Disney. They've been doing it for a long time. And they're going to continue to try and do it. And we got to work on it. We got to get these small time things done. We got to get the base built so we can build a house on top of it.
Like, if that's
very
the case,
profitable house.
So if that's the case, people are gonna have to start being able to license themselves their own likeness. So now I'm a character. Say it again.
I said to some degree they should, if they don't already do that. They should.
That's what I'm saying.
They are their business.
What I'm saying, like everybody, like it just not just like just like celebrities, but dang near anybody who's even like the smaller time actors are gonna have to trademark themselves to a point where now whenever you use my likeness, I get paid regardless. So instead of like, you have to pay me, you're gonna pay me a one-time sum. Like, no, this is my face is still like my brand now. So like, I guess that could be a way possibly that could be towards a way to get around it, because like I don't know, it's gonna be
now that you mention that. You're right, and I think content creators are the forefront of that already. Like, they're the first ones that are coming into contact with that issue, like people using their voices and their likeness to do like those little AI commercials. Like I remember somebody was advertising one, and it became like a big thing on YouTube for someone was advertising an Andrew Tate video was being used with his AI voice to advertise some type of muscle agent, and he was like, "That's not me." and then you had brought that against him in like some court case or something, and then he was like, "That's not even me." Or something. I was like, "That's not good." That should make it. The fact that stuff like that can happen is all and is already happening. This needs to be slowed down. There's like content creators in general have already been that. So to see that that's eventually going to start hitting just our TV shows, our movies, is also wild.
No, all of it's gonna be it's gonna be a strange world. Like I said, future,
Yeah, the future is disgusting. Oh, and you know what else I think is hilarious? Because you're mentioning the future. In the far and distant future, we'll finally get The Last of Us season 2, Euphoria season 3, Emily in Paris season 4, like Stranger Things season 5, like Lotus. Nothing. Doom, you looking forward to seeing that second one? Yeah, you ain't seen that no time soon. Remember that Deadpool movie that we was already waiting? You're gonna be waiting a little bit longer. A lot longer. You like Spider-Man?
The finale of that Spider-Man movie that you felt like
Yeah,
ended on a
you like that?
cliffhanger.
Yeah, you ain't getting that, my guy.
You go see that.
I just saw that news like 2 days ago, and it broke my soul. Started listening to Frank Ocean. I was like, what is happening, man? But as a consequence, we gotta start dealing with it now. Especially when it comes down to those works where people's physical bodies are shown and their physical self is being represented. It's gonna be a big issue. We gotta get that going now.
Yep, their face, their likeness, all of it. So like I said, hopefully again soon. I have a friend who's actually part of the guild as well, because he works on like Marvel movies as like a costumer. So they've been on strike, so he hasn't had anything to work on as well for the because obviously there's very limited things just shooting and whatnot. But at least some of the good ones are still going out, because otherwise we would be completely without entertainment right now. New entertainment. It would be nothing but reruns.
Oh, just watch. We're gonna start seeing like I think in the next year or two, we're gonna start seeing like filmmakers and small time films. They're just gonna be on the boom, gonna be on the rise because these people are gonna need work, and they're gonna start collaborating with just people everywhere. Because what's really been holding back, I think, the film industry is the fact that there seems to be a simple route to get there, or I shouldn't say a simple,
no,
they've
just been taking the easy route. Like even even if you go with their movie designs currently, like that's why they've got so many flops recently. I mean, and that's also attributed to the writers who haven't been working and whatnot. But Marvel and DC both have had numerous flops in the past years. I mean, Marvel has been on the decline pretty much since Avengers came out. I feel like you still get the people who are the general fan base who are still gonna watch because they're in for it, and and of course the comic book fans who know these characters.
Oh, yeah.
But for the most part,
it's become a niche genre like it was going to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, it was always gonna be a thing because how many comic books and comic book characters they were. Once they got successful, they were just gonna start throwing them out. But I guess my issue with it, instead of like them doing those like standalone stories or whatnot, is that them trying to build such a massive universe that's like all interconnected and cohesive or whatnot. Like, and even with the comics, in most cases, they don't do that outside of like main events because it gets fucking confusing and it gets hard to keep up with because you have all these different titles or whatnot that now you have to kind of peek out because this movie has an ending scene that involves two characters from two other shows that you also had to have watched 5 years of movies to recognize and understand where they are and what's going on with them in that situation. And it's just like, this is already crazy. And then you have not only the movies, now the TV shows and everything that are all like that are all interconnected and everything. So like it becomes like just too big for its own good, where it's just like this isn't even a viable thing to like look at. I mean, like when you look at the state of comics, there's no way for you to read like every comic book and every characters that has their own comic book series off or whatnot. I mean, if you just look at the Justice League series, it would be impossible for you to even read each of those characters um comics from that team alone and keep up with the story. And that's why they don't make it a cohesive thing where each one of these all fit into the world and like, okay, these do exist in this world, but they have their own iterations. This is like this own type of world. Something might be different here or whatnot than the third, so you don't get that weird thing.
Yeah, they're in their standalone stories.
Exactly.
They have their own standalone stories. Right. The Justice League story is when they're all together, and then they all have their own standalone comic series.
Exactly. That'll follow their own thing, and maybe sometimes you'll see some of the Justice League. Maybe the whole Justice League appears sometimes, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like, the main thing. So that's where I feel like, I mean, DC just can't get its foot off the ground in general. Like the Flash, oh my God, like though I think it is now like the biggest flop in like recent history.
Yeah, like, nobody wanted to see that man on screen.
That, and it was just like, apparently it was just like from all the clips I've seen from the movie, does not look cohesive or good at all. Like it just looks like a bunch of stuff happening. I'm just like, oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've already been on the whole superhero burnout for a minute now. Even with Marvel, with their whole Secret Wars or whatnot, I haven't even had taken the bother to take a look or whatnot, and I heard that wasn't even doing that well as well. So yeah, it's in a weird state for everything, and it all just can be led back to the writers not being properly compensated and taken care of.
Yeah, that, and it's also just poor design. Like I've been sick and tired of seeing like the consequences of what happened in the last minute. Just been ready to move on. And their acquisition, the use of X-Men, the prolonged thing, COVID, like a lot of stuff has pushed things back, and that also just made the issues and the ongoing issues going on, paying of actors and writers and actresses. And it's been a prolonged issue for a long time. It's just been getting worse. So it's about time they handled it. Happy they're handling it.
Mm-hmm. And then amongst all this, we still have the One Piece movie dropping.
Ain't nobody got time for that, B.
I don't know if you saw the last trailer.
I did.
It's not going to be good. But after that last trailer, I got to say, I'm willing to at least give it a chance. Before, I wasn't even going to, like, take it, touch it. But, like, after that last trailer, I was like, you know what? This might be all right.
It might be
all right. Something might be a little, like, it might be not a decent movie, but like, it might be a decent watch to like see like, okay, this is terrible, but this is, I mean, they've got so much to live up against, honestly. Like, what do they really have? They have to beat out the Cowboy Bebop anime, live action. They have the Avatar live action, the Dragon Ball Evolution live action. Like, I think in all retrospect, it couldn't. You would hope, as far as I've seen so far from the trailers, because all those other trailers just weren't hitting for me before I even saw the movie. So this is just like, okay, we might be making a step in the right direction, because no matter what I say, I'm always rooting for the movie to be good, because yeah, I would love for it to work. I would love for it to look good and everything to be well. It doesn't even have to, I'm not necessarily saying it has to be like 1-to-1, but like, if you're gonna do it well. And it just hasn't been done well. So I don't get why it's been done. Why it keeps being done.
Okay. All right. I feel you. But let me get this out. So I don't necessarily have a problem with any of the new stuff they're trying to do with these live action. I like the fact that each new one that we've gotten though has come from it at like a different angle. The One Piece one seems heavy on fan service, which is great. 2, it seems really heavy into like paying an homage to where it comes from. The characters seem to really play into the, and on top of that, the way they're dressed, it damn near just comes off like cosplay. They're going straight for it, and I like that. I like that they're heading straight into it. The Cowboy Bebop one, it felt like they were going for that with their direction.
With a terrible direction.
Like,
with a terrible direction. With
terrible direction, but I'm not gonna lie. Though the dude who was doing those scenes, the productive stuff, like the way that they were able to do that, those designers, they did a great job.
No, I get that, but that's beside the point of the actual storyline and like the characters.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
Like sure, yeah.
I'm just saying that they're going about it in different ways.
Visual effects and all that aside, like yeah, there are some amazing visual effects on animating, some good scene directors, but the actual show itself was ass doo-doo garbage water.
Oh yeah.
The pacing,
it wasn't great.
No, it was ass doo-doo garbage water. Either. I'm not even gonna put it in like one of those like it was up in the air. No, it was ass. What really killed me about it was like the I want to say like the theme of it, the energy that it gave was very like.
Yeah, man.
How do I even say? Like, it wasn't that they were like trying to be goofy, but like they weren't being serious as well. Like, I felt like it was a very like trying to make it like very like lighthearted, this, that, and the third. I'm like, this is a very like depressing show. Like all these niggas are going through it. Like the theme, I'm like it's just like some fun times, but all that is really just masking this nigga's whole dark past, this girl's amnesia, and this man's whole haunted history and whatnot. Like there's it's a whole like allegory for like depression and like stagnation and everything, and you're like, ooh, it was like, oh god,
adulthood in general.
Yeah, I just couldn't vibe with it. Like especially for me, Cowboy Bebop's main essence was like the jazz theme and like everything. Like the whole concept of it was that whole cowboy aesthetic, old and western feel with that jazz rhythmic tones to the background, whatnot. So
in a sci-fi setting.
Exactly. So it felt like just a sci-fi western. It was very much built like, western styled story arcs and everything, even from like the characters and all that. Western to old school detective is like what I would say is like it mixes a good mix between. And then just the jazz influences on top of that just make for just a wild blend of things that you again wouldn't think would come together, but that shit comes together like a good ass gumbo. Cause goddamn.
Yeah, and that's I'm actually very happy you mentioned that. To mention it, that's exactly what I was gonna say. It does. I like the fact that it does like the production and everything very well, in my opinion. But that's the thing I think they were trying to do very well. But the main problem with it is the simple fact that it comes off as though they're acknowledging the fact that it's an anime they're adapting. Way too much. It doesn't feel like a story anymore. It just feels like an adaptation of an anime. If it was supposed to be a true adaptation of Cowboy Bebop, the scenes should have been darker. The color palette should have been darker because the show felt very bright. The atmosphere should have been darker. Like the first time we go into a club like we did in that show, it shouldn't have been a very bright colors and reminiscent with velvet everywhere. It should have been
dark and gritty. It should have been Western style. Yeah.
It should have been dark. It should have been dark. Like if we're gonna go into a nice, beautiful place, it should have still had dullish colors. It should have still been kind of dark. There should have been a cigarette section that we got to pan to, where like people are smoking cigarettes and people are drinking themselves dry, and other people are dating, and other dudes sitting there with a hooker or something. Like it should have been the reminiscent of the scenery that we're looking into. Instead, it just felt like they knew they were doing an anime. It's time to go and save someone, or it's time to go and be happy and be the heroes. And it's like, yo, no, these guys more than half the time they're doing this for money because they food at the beginning of the episode.
Yes, it's like they're eating.
They need to do this to survive. This is what any of them stuck here, and you haven't given that impression. And when you did, it was far too late. You haven't given that impression correctly. You're not even through the setting, which is the whole point. It's just if you're gonna bring out an adaptation, at the very least, bring the heart of the show. The heart of One Piece, I think, is very lively, heartful, and funny. it's fun. I think that's another reason why this movie could do very well with the way they're presenting it. Thing is, they might be the first one to actually hit the setting and the theme and the feel of an anime into it.
And that's because I feel like they actually have the creator like literally in the middle of the shit. Like, hey yo, y'all not fucking my baby up. He's like, this is my last chance to really get this going in the Western Front, and y'all are not about to ruin it for me. I'm not just about to, you know, sit back and let y'all just fuck me. Okay, I see what y'all do. And y'all be like, Chang, you want to fuck me?
But the characters still feel like cosplay. I ain't gonna get over that one.
Which one?
Characters still feel like cosplay. Everybody.
In One Piece?
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%. Like it's my issue with it, I feel like, is that because they will lean into the anime aspect, but they won't commit. So like with One Piece especially, the biggest thing for me, and especially for the manga itself, is that it's the body proportions. There are so many oddly shaped characters and oddly proportioned people where you have like niggas who are just like ridiculously tall, or the fishermen themselves are all like crazy unique with each style or whatnot. But like now you have everything's like more humanized. But even with this, well, not even CGI, you could do practical effects and everything. Like if you're gonna do it is my whole thing. Like that was because that was the whole issue with the Death Note live action before they even did, because they did real decently enough in the most recent edition, I guess, in the U.S. With White Boy Light. But when you had like the original Japanese version, that's what I like.
That man was not my L.
Oh my god, insane. But but yeah, no, but like even with like back then the CGI just was abrasive and everything. So I feel like the best way to like do anime will either be like something along the lines of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where you're gonna have to like rotoscope something in that sense, and like, you know, do like an animation in that way, where you have like, if you're gonna do like real live people, you'll have to like kind of, you know, mix that CGI a little better if you're going to do CGI. If not, then practical effects are going to be it, because like I don't know what their costume departments be on, but when I be seeing these people in cosplay that, you know, then put this together with cardboard and Worbula foam and shit at home at their non-professional job that they spent their own money on to build, versus, you know, it's a company that, you know, a production company that, you know, that has a budget and everything, and they can't even get like the basic theme of a character down.
Shit, I mean, you see how much they pay in the actor?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's you look at the pay. I mean, the work shows itself. The proof is in the pudding, because like, yeah, when you see these people, I mean, it don't matter the character, bro. Like characters with one leg, people who roll around on like a single wheel, you'll see cosplayers in full get up and giving it their all and everything. Like got the character movements down and everything, got their mannerisms down and everything, even the way that they speak down. Like it's cosplay is a whole different beast. Like I feel like people don't understand because they think it's just like, you know, kind of like, you know, dressing up as like Halloween. Like, no, these people are pretty much actors. Like this is LARPing right here. Live action role play for real. Like these people, we be really in it. And so the fact that, you know, people are bringing that to something where they don't have like a storyline or anything, and you can't even get that basic energy into a movie.
Man, it's gonna need to be a passion project. We're gonna, at this point, it's either gonna have to be like a AAA design thing where they can put so much money and effort into it, it can just turn out to be just massively good, or we're gonna need a passion project.
Oh yeah, because
it's something that the money doesn't matter. If they have a lot or they have a little, the people are willing to work and do whatever. Because right now, all we're seeing is just a bunch of shortcuts. Designers don't have that money. They're paying the actors or actresses or the design team.
Even the people who are working on it, they don't really care for or know the stuff. So like I said, my friend who works in costuming, he's like a giant comic book fan or whatnot. Like he loves it and whatnot. And it's crazy that when he's on set though, like he is like one of the only people geeking out because nobody else really gives a fuck about this stuff. And so like, this is just another paycheck to them. So like they don't really care. They're just like, okay, I'm trying to get this like this or whatever. So like, they got their creative designer on it and they're doing their thing. But like for the most part, most of the people might like know of it, but it's not like you said. It's not like they're passionate or whatnot. They're not passionate about like all these IPs and whatnot. You would think the people working on these things would be the people passionate about it, but it's in reality it's really not.
Even if they're not, you have to give them a reason to be passionate. Like in the last episode when we were talking about God, and I mentioned like everyone wasn't.
Hold on, you're starting to cut out a bit.
God of War. Oh, can you hear me better now?
Well, it's like, keep talking.
Can you hear me better now? How about now?
So I can hear you, but like every few seconds it like cuts. It like.
How about this? How's this?
Keep talking.
All right. I just wanted to know if this was a little bit better or a lot of bit better. Still going up and down. I just don't know. It might just actually be my voice.
So your voice isn't going. So like the volume of your voice isn't going down, but like literally. It'll be like you talking and then you'll be still talking when like it's being cut.
Oh no, I wonder what that
is. This happened last time. Let's try. We're gonna end the Discord and come back and I can edit over all this, so it's not a big deal.
How is it now?
Keep talking.
Is it still doing it? Because if it's still doing it now, then I'm probably going to see what's going on with my phone. That's the thing that's like connecting us together, I suppose.
It might just be the Discord. Sometimes Discord starts acting weird. What we can do is just end the Discord and then restart the call because it was fine at the beginning.
All right, I'll just do that. I'll be right back. Let me,
All right, hello.
Yep, give me a moment. All right, so now we've reconnected, and it's time for you to tell me if it's any better.
So I'm not sure if it cut out at the end there or if you just stopped talking.
I just stopped talking when I said not. Yeah, I just didn't know that was long enough. It had fixed itself. I don't know if I need to stop talking. I don't know what's going on anymore, man. I'm just struggling.
Okay, I think it just did it.
Did it?
Keep going.
I can't really tell anymore. Sometimes I just wonder if this thing is fucking up, or if I'm the fucking up, or if maybe it's just the way that I speak. I don't even know.
Okay, that's fine right now. So, all right, we're back to it.
All right, yeah, let's get it going. All right, what were we on? What were we talking about?
Movie strikes.
Yeah, I feel like it's just cuts. Like when you're an animator, you're gonna work with the money that you get. You're gonna work with the time you get. You're gonna work with the resources and the tools that you have. If you're not a really big budget studio, you're probably not working with the best tools or the best programs. And if you're not working on something you're familiar with, especially if you're working for Netflix all of a sudden with a One Piece title, and you have to do things you may have never done before, it's going to be a little bit difficult. But what animators and designers are really good at are cutting corners normally. So at least some of the best ones are good at really cutting corners. That's like when they can produce something and get something done with the least amount of work that isn't normal, but is working in this specific instance, you know? Right. And we're going to need some stuff like that in we're going to need some stuff like that. The really crazy designs that come with the animation and come with the anime in general. We're gonna need that. And to some degree, I feel like that can happen. But right now, we just got to get the basic stuff off. I think One Piece was a good start. A lot of the characters that are our main cast are kind of humanoid. They look normal until, crazy stuff starts to happen, like when somebody stretches their body a model. But it's like, when that stuff starts happening, okay, then it's going to be about the animation. And even then, I don't even think it has to be top tier for us to be okay with it. It just has to be put on screen. Like, it can be ugly, and as long as it looks good on screen, we're going to be cool with it. But we'll figure it out. I think we're just starting. Like, at least Netflix in general, they're trying, but we're really just starting. This thing hasn't been going on for very long. The more the original creators and people who are passionate about it are willing to work with the people who are creating this, the better it'll get. That's why I was so sad about the Avatar thing, that the creators just left the project.
Well,
I was like,
because their voices probably weren't being heard.
Is that creative differences?
Yeah.
At least that's what I heard, that it was creative differences.
Well, that's the crazy part about it, is that how are you going to have creative differences with the creator?
Yeah, it's
it's
a little weird.
Of any of the people that to have, let's say, in what's going on here is just like, I wrote this shit. I'm trying to tell you.
It's just wild. Like I would have really appreciated just seeing that on TV in a decent manner. And
I mean, it's still coming out, right?
Seeing that, yeah, we're probably gonna be seeing that in any manner that's decent, any form of decent. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
But we'll figure that out when that hill comes. Like,
I mean, anything could be better than that movie.
First. Yeah, anything. That's not even. No. No. Like, why, man? No. You remember the old Astro Boy movie?
Yes.
That was a bop for me when I was a kid. I love that movie.
Astro Boy hits.
Yeah, man. To me, Astro Boy was like my thing when I was younger. But
Astro Boy wasn't that bad, though.
I liked Astro Boy a lot. It was like that was like my Mario. I had Sonic and Astro Boy, and then it became Mega Man. But it was something. It was just, man. I just really want to see good animation, good anime in general, turning into live action. I think it can happen. It's just gonna really need some good passion behind it.
I feel like why? In most cases, why?
Because some things I think will adapt very well. Like, I just think some things will adapt very well. Like, I think Cowboy Bebop should have been able to adapt very well.
Yeah, they would have actually done it like a dark noir, like Western style. Yeah. That would have been amazing. But
Ghost in the Shell should have adapted very well. Whoever was working on it, they just couldn't do it.
You know what would be a good one?
What?
Big O.
Yeah, Big O. Like, come on, man.
Like a good little, maybe 2, 3 movies of Big O.
Had Power Rangers for years. We got Transformers. Give me Big O.
Big O would be insane. Paradigm City.
Like, jeez, man. Like, just anything could work. At this point in time, we just need people to be passionate about it and for it to have the correct direction. The way they did that newest Batman movie is what they need to do with an anime.
Yeah, the new Batman movie honestly hit.
It hits hard. Oh, like, this Batman feels real, man. Mm-hmm. This feels like a real life Batman. This does not feel like they're as obvious as a comic book. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, those Dark Knight movies, the ones that were the best, were the ones that felt real, that really pulled you in. Like, you felt like niggas was dying when Joker was on screen.
Oh yeah, no, Joker, he really captivated. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't like super, like what they did with the with DC now, where like, you know, Batman's, you know, punching through walls and shit, and like it's all super dark and gritty. Essentially, Batman's just killing people, and you're just like, yo, what is going on in here? It's like all action.
Where's the detective?
It's like all balls to the wall, hard action. It's just like, Jesus Christ, no, okay, this is not all comic books are. Like, there's a whole character and story arc behind these people, but
he's the world's greatest detective.
Yes,
not just the best beat stick.
Come on, like, he can fight for sure. But I feel like they get confused with like the games, and like they saw like some clips from the Arkham games, and we're like, oh, Batman be beating ass. Yeah, we gotta have him in here beating ass. And it's like, yeah, no, Batman be beating ass, but for the most part, he's strategic. You know, he's intuitive. You know, he kind of, the whole point of his character is that he relates with his villains. That he sees, you know, he doesn't see them as just like a villain. You know, he's supposed to be the contrast to the Joker's, you know, one bad day. Mm-hmm. Is like, you know, he's supposed to be that epitome of like, you know, you can never go too far, yada yada. But you can understand that, like, you know, everybody has their slips or faults or whatever, and he's like, you slip up, and I'm be there to put your ass in check. But you know,
and many of them are wired the same way that he is. They just chose a different path. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a reason why the Riddler is considered one of his best villains, and why the Riddler always continues to show up all the time in media, because the Riddler and him, their brains work the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why he can't trump him on his riddles, because he always can see through them. They're very similar. They have very similar IQs. They're extremely smart. They've both gone through shit.
Mm-hmm.
They know each other very well.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why Batman has it. Like, everybody always talks about how crazy Batman is. It's like, yeah, that's the whole point. Like, Batman's whole point, like, his whole rule is that to not kill, because, yeah, if he does that, he's gone. Nothing makes him any different than what he fights out there. And it's like, it's that choice that he makes every day to, like, get up and to fight the corruption versus, joining it or whatnot. And, to not kill those people and give everybody a chance to redeem themselves or whatnot.
And that's what it is. And but that's what they need to bring to anime. That's what we need to have. We need to have more passion projects, things that really hit the theme and the feel that specific anime delivers. And only certain ones should be brought to live action. Not all of them will work correctly. All of them, you're going to be able to hit that correct theme unless you're going in a campy route. And if you're going to go a campy route, at least make sure that
it's meant to be campy.
The story can keep working. Yeah. And there's a lot of anime you can do that with. There's a lot of anime you can do that with. So, just take your pick, take your choice. But let's just be a little bit more creative. Let's actually put some work into it. There's some people who are passionate about it and try and create something that's good. But to be honest, I've been itching to talk about this next topic. Because this is so many games coming out in the next few months, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to talk about them.
What you got? What good games you excited for?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm a big Armored Core fan. I can't wait for that to come out. And more importantly, BG3. We talked about that last episode. But Armored Core needs to come out soon, because Armored Core, I believe, comes out for it. So I need to get some time to play that before BG3 comes out. And then after BG3, more games that I want to play are going to be coming out as well. So I need time.
All I know is the one I'm fiending for next is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, because I've been waiting on my Jet Set Radio revival for the longest. You already know I'm a big mentioner of Air Gear here and on the Jungle Podcast. So being able to live out my Air Gear lifestyle to the best soundtracks out here, it's just going to be a good time. And now they've added new vehicles and everything, new characters. Oh, this is going to be a good time.
Yeah.
I just can't wait.
I saw that there was actual, like in a recent gameplay footage in the trailer, I was like, oh, there's a skateboard there.
Oh, there's skateboard, hoverboard.
On that guy's feet. There's hoverboards.
You can literally just run, apparently.
Yeah, that was like the original thing that I saw. It was just boots. I was like, oh, these guys didn't even have boards. They're just running. They're just grinding on like the bottoms of their feet. And I was like, that's crazy. It's like some Air Gear approach.
Yeah,
and then I saw the rollerblades. Mm-hmm. And then I saw the skateboard. And I was like, oh, no, they're just giving you freedom to do whatever you want. Like, I was like, oh, this is going to be creative fun. I was like, oh, man.
The soundtrack sounds amazing.
They're coming out with a Jet Set. So, but
I mean, of course, I'm here for all of it. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm here
this
for all
is
of it.
gonna hold people over, man. It was because I was anticipating this, and I think when I first heard about the rumors, we hadn't heard anything about this game yet. It's just they hadn't been very active or spoke a lot on their Twitter.
Oh yeah, no, so I've been on this game for a couple of years now, like waiting for it, and it's so funny though, because like you would say, once they did announce that Jet Set Radio Future revival, I had this game in my Steam wish list already, waiting for, like, because they still hadn't even put a date on it. The date was still to be determined or whatnot. I want to say it had to be the same day that they announced the Jet Set Radio Future thing. They went on there and was like, coming in a few months. They like, they literally kept it the day. They're like, coming, because before they were talking about it was going to come later this year, like it was supposed to come in the later half of 2023. And so you're thinking around like Christmas time, whatever, blah blah blah. That dropped, and they were literally coming out in 3 months. We're dropping this shit. What did they say? Jet Set Radio's coming back?
I just think like this, it really sucks. Like I love competition for like video games. I like them to, at the very least, be able to continue to like go against each other, to be able to see like which fan base, which genre is doing well, and see how things are selling. You know, there's a whole bunch of new casual gamers since COVID, so I'm really actually anticipating how these next few months are gonna go. In my opinion, I think this is the most stacked it's really been on like so many different genres in just 2 months. Like we got like sports games are coming out like always in these next 2 months. We got Madden and 2K coming out. Then we have like the strategy RPG fans when it comes down to Baldur's Gate, and you know From Software fans if they have Baldur's Gate as well if they want to play that, and then they also have BG3 that's coming out. You have that Immortals Avium. I don't know if you saw that in the last game show. It's like it looks like a movie, like a sci-fi fantasy movie almost.
But which one?
I think it's called Immortals Avium. Avium.
Oh yeah. No, I'm excited for that. I remember seeing that at the.
That's coming out.
It's gonna be like a Souls
so
like,
many
right?
games. Yeah, kind of. It looks more like a linear storyline type thing. I can't. I guess you would have to see it, and you'd probably be able to give me something. Whenever I see it, I just think like, oh, it kind of gives me that feeling of like, yeah, just a linear progressed story. Like it's very like you just run down the path that they're giving you. You jump into a mission. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be like an open world or even a simulator. I can't tell. But I guess we'll find out when that comes out because I really haven't seen that much on it. But also the Cyberpunk DLC comes out, I think in September. Yeah, in September that comes out. So it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. And a gotcha game comes to console. Yeah, Tower of Fantasy. That's gonna be on PS5. Yeah, for all you weird ass gotcha gamers.
Not me. You know, I enjoyed a little Genshin Impact for a little bit there, but then I ran out of money, so you know, couldn't keep up. Can't keep up. Got to keep up.
Oh man, that community is always in some drama about something. Like I think they were the first community that went up in arms about the VA tubers, the ones that have like the AI characters.
Yeah, because a lot of them were using Genshin characters.
Yeah, I think they were the first ones that ever had start drama with that community, and then they just became a big community and entity upon themselves, and now it's just a whole thing. But the Gacha community is something else. Go up and down like.
And no, they too rich for my blood. Anybody who can just put money into a property they don't own, hey.
Oh yeah, and Lies of P also comes out. So if you want like something that's another Dark Souls clone, there you go.
Oh yeah, no, I played the demo of that. That was actually
game and play Armored Core.
Lies of P wasn't too bad. I played the demo for it all the way through. It's pretty good. Some I mean, like I said, it was a demo, so I'm sure they're still working on. But there was some like things that were a little iffy about it. But outside of that, it was pretty cool. So I was like, yeah, I mean, and it's something different at least. So like that's another thing that I'm always fun. If it's something different, I'm always likely to check it out because like, hey, tell me a story, give me something different. So I mean, it's Pinocchio, but like it's definitely weird. I'm interested to see what the whole game mechanics goes with it, with like the telling lies and all that.
Yeah, it's giving me a Bloodborne approach. Like taking a twist on something traditional.
Feels like Bloodborne, like the gameplay, how you interact with some of the characters and all that through like the doors and walls and everything. Definitely feels like a Bloodborne. And I haven't even played Bloodborne because that came out before I was really into Dark Souls games. Like,
I'm so sorry that they haven't made that available to you guys on PC in a decent manner.
Oh, I'm gonna play Bloodborne. And what is it? And Demon Souls as well. I want to play because I've been playing the Souls genre since I played. What was it? I think it was Dark Souls 1. Anytime I come to visit Cleveland and I'm over at Devin's house, I play I play Dark Souls on his Xbox.
Nice.
And so I pretty much played through most of the first one on there, and then I think I started another gameplay when I was there. So yeah, I was like, and obviously I played the fuck out of Elden Ring. Love the fuck out of that. So yeah, I might have to check out.
Amazing game.
So good, so good. And you know it's crazy? I'm playing Remnant of Ashes right now with Gabe and Amante, and that's honestly amazing. I played the first one, and the first one was cool because you got it's procedurally generated, so everybody's world is different, and then you get sent to different worlds just based off where you go. This one they really expand upon it. You can dual class. It's the worlds are way more intuitive. So the bosses, man. So like before you had like each world had different bosses or whatnot, and like they were varied still. Like they were all different types or whatnot, and like would have like different status effects or whatever. But like this one, man, even like just progressing around like the dungeons is always is vastly different each time, and then you even have stuff like um what was it? We were just like exploring around in a dungeon area or whatnot, and we found these pods that you don't even have to open apparently, but like we opened them up and you can like climb into it. And once all three of us climbed into it, it started a cutscene for a boss, for a secret boss or whatever that we wouldn't have even like regularly have gotten to or whatever apparently, and like transports us to the boss fight and everything. I'm like, oh shit, this shit is wild. And so like and like we've had boss fights where like the boss wasn't even like a regular boss, it was like a puzzle boss. So like they were like it was like a room where like it was essentially like the freaking Mario fucking things where you have like the big cubes that like smash down on you. It's like
Yeah.
it's like those,
Oh
but like
no, he
they're
smashes up on them.
yeah, but those and like you have to like they have like weak. It was wild. It was like you have weak points that you have to shoot all of them, and like they're all moving in like a rhythm, so you have to like dodge them without getting crushed by them and all this.
Oh jeez.
It was crazy. So like it's been a good time so far. So
I
yeah,
hear
like
good things about it as well. To be honest, like people have been talking about it for a while. A lot of the tubers who I follow who play Destiny are not playing that because they're not happy with Destiny. Um, it seems like people are really enjoying the game. So I never really got into the first one. I felt like it was just another looter shooter. I didn't really went into another one at that point in time. And now I don't know. I'm not really vibing with looting games at all. Like I really do like the fact that they have different maps every time you jump in. Like that simulated world thing is kind of brilliant. I think that's amazing. Like how some maps have bosses, some maps don't have the same. Some maps have secret bosses, some maps have secret rooms, and next time you can be in the same area, but it's designed completely different. Or
yeah.
I like that how it can be constantly different. But the motivation to do it, I'm just not sure if I have the drive to do that anymore.
I understand that because like I'm with that with like builder games like collecting games now like Minecraft and all that. I could just like sit there and
Mm.
just like sit in Minecraft and just build a whole village or whatnot. But now like it's like where is this going? This I'm not doing, this is doing nothing. So like for that I don't like I just don't care for it anymore. But like yeah, these looter shooters like I don't know I'm really fucking with, especially now you can like set up your class in any way and a very the classes that you can customize are completely different. You can choose what traits you put into that changes like your gameplay, what mods you use, what weapons you use,
Mm-hmm.
what mutations you
And
put
that's
on your
another
mods and
thing.
weapons. Like it's
That's
honestly
good
like
too.
it's and then this one is also versus the first one, it feels like a more of a progressive story. Like the first one, I felt like it was like more loose, like just stuff was happening in each world. Well, this one, like you have a set objective that you're doing, and then you have all the like side quests you can go to and do while you're in those worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then like all the additional things and dungeon shooting and all that. So it's still cool on that regard. So like one of the worlds we went into, we ran into like a dual-sided world where one side was dark, one side was light, but it was the same character. So he was like pretty much like that dude from Elden Ring, the Golden Bough
Mm.
dude who had like the double
Yeah.
armor. He had that, but like one side was dark, one side was gold. And so when you're in one world, you're talking apparently to one half of them, and when you're in the other world, you're talking to another half. And they both ask
Mm.
you to kill the other one. So you get to choose which one you want to kill and for which one or whatever. And apparently you get different rewards based on which one you help and which one you kill and yada yada.
That's
And like
crazy.
it's so good. Like and then those characters are apparently connected to like something else that happened into the same world at another section that you deal with. It's wild. It's pretty good storytelling so far. I've been messing with it.
Yeah,
It's
very
kept me.
unique way of storytelling in video games. I noticed that like all these different worlds, they all have like a overarching combined story. You just get little different bits and pieces for every world that you go into. And it's different things too. It's in the gameplay every time you go into it is different too. So it's probably really easy to miss stuff.
Oh yeah, you try to look at everything, but
hey, man, I don't know. I need to jump back into the genre in general because my main thing when it comes down to gaming is like character creation. I really like creating my own character,
you can
my
create your
own
own
like
character from the
abilities, and
root to the tutor. You get to
yeah,
make your, you
trust me,
choose
I
a
did my
class.
research on it. Like it fit into my category of interest. I really enjoy everything you said. You even told me some stuff I didn't even like that thing about the light and dark thing. I was like,
Yeah, and that's just in one of the
like
worlds. So it's
jumping
like
into
this.
a pod. I was like, oh no. When I
Mm-hmm.
heard the interview, they were talking about these different things, but when you hear about the different ways, it definitely brightens the room a little. I
Exactly,
don't know.
it's
I'm
different.
trying to like, I'm trying to get into stuff, but I'm also like really just trying to stay interested into the things that I like. Like gaming is at one point in time, gaming was starting to lose me because of all the extra stuff that I was playing, the different ways I was trying to stay up with my friends or play different things that people were playing around me. Then I just started playing stuff I wasn't really all that passionate about, and then I just started liking things. So I was like, maybe I'll just cut back and just play something that I can just enjoy on my own. So I've been trying to play like more single player titles and stuff that I used to enjoy playing those things like I was telling you about the Captain Tsubasa where you play soccer. Like I like creating a character, building my own moveset over where you create your own fighting set and build and just fight people against their own fighting set. I love doing that stuff. That's really where I've been at, but man, I just miss picking up loot sometimes, bro. And the
Mm-hmm.
loot just changing up the gameplay in a drastic way, like the old Borderlands type shit. Like you pick up a gun and you were just running around, you didn't cover, like you just shooting people's heads off. Now you got like a sniper and you can just think, and people explode and die around them. It's like they just change the gameplay every.
I'm telling you'll enjoy Remnant too. I'm telling you want to get it on. I'll play it with you. It'll be a whole different gunplay, but it's the same stuff. You get different mods, you get different mutations that change your weapons, change what they do, your abilities obviously, and like I said, you get the dual class and you can switch your classes and all that as well. So like you get way more freedom as far as like your abilities and all that. The mods, accessories, weapons, armor, all that's customizable. And then it's pretty much a trait tree like Elden Ring, but the way that it works is you gain the traits based off how you play. So
mm.
so as you're playing and say you do a lot of healing, you can get a medic thing that like increases your regen rate or something like that, or increases your max how much you heal yourself or whatnot. If you use mods a lot, you can get a mod trait which will increase your mod power or whatever like that. So based off like what you do in that game and whatnot, it gives you different traits and whatnot. You can even get traits from beating certain secret enemies and all that. Um, so like it allows a lot of freedom and flexibility and just replayability to the game in general.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta think. It's been sounding good since I first heard about it, but it's sounding a little bit better today. I mean, I'm gonna look up some more stuff, see if I can like convince myself to buy another game. Man, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff that can happen in the future with games, and the main thing I know is that live service is gonna be a thing. Live service is gonna. Louis Suitors better just keep getting better, because eventually they're gonna hit a point where I'm gonna be playing only Louis. Like back in the day when I was only playing D1, I used to just log on every. Wake up in the morning, 2 hours left before I gotta go to work. I'm playing D1 PvP. Come home after work. I'm striking for at least 2 hours. Then I take a shower. Then I eat. Then I come back and I'm striking again. I'm going to bed. It's just rinse and repeat. I love that game
That's fair.
so much. And then stuff got crazy.
Yeah,
They had no
unfortunately.
content for a long time, and then Destiny 2 showed up, and then it reset all my content, and I
And
didn't
then it
know
pretty
how I
much
felt
became a
about it.
gotcha game.
I was like,
With
yo, where is my loot? I
pay to
spent
play,
almost 5 years, and my loot's gone.
or it just doesn't matter anymore. It's just
Or
sitting
yeah,
there
it
now.
was just
You can't even like upgrade it with like the typical upgrade stuff. Like, oh no, this is locked.
Like everything was just gone, bro. Like even like one of my favorite weapons, Red Death. They brought back all these other weapons. They brought back Red Death and turned it into a hand cannon. It was no longer a pulse rifle. It's now a pulse hand cannon. Excuse me? Like what? What are you doing?
Nani?
That is still like the main thing I'm pissed about. Like it was like the number one upsetting thing on day one. Like you get your like I remember the first day I played D1. This is probably the reason why for me. My first day, I got an exotic before the first 24 hours was up. Me and one of my friends, we took a day off of work. We played for the first 24 hours, and I always had off the next day, so that meant I had 2 days off. So we beat the story in like 6 hours, and after we were talking crap about how pissed we were that the story was so short after all we heard about the game, we just sat running through PvP hoping we could get some exotics. I got an auto rifle named Hard Light. It was the first thing I got. It was a rifle that bounced off walls.
Yep.
Dope. Amazing. But that was all that lasted, you know? It was just PvP for like 3 months before we got our first like DLC. It felt like forever. Just playing PvP, redoing the same strikes over and over again.
Yeah, it was. It did feel like for a long time.
Yeah, for a minute. And then when they finally got their stuff together, they started releasing content. They started building up from there. And then the Taken King was just the tipping point. That's when Destiny was just at its height. And it was, for me at that point in time, there was nothing it could do wrong.
Yeah, yep. And then they ruined it. And then they ruined it.
I mean, look, you got it. They had to make a sequel, right?
I guess.
I mean, no, they had to. Their parent company said you have to. Activision was like, yeah, go do that. But yo, let's talk about this real quick because I don't know if you have like. Actually, I don't know at all what you've been playing. Like what your current games are right now. But I do know you still like League. You seen that fighting game?
Which fighting game?
Oh, Project L.
Oh no.
Oh man, yo, you gotta look it up.
I'll look it up for next episode.
I think this thing is gonna change gaming, like fighting games in general. But I've been telling people about fighting games need new stuff. Fighting games needs to evolve. They've been doing the same too long. This game gonna do it. I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek. We're talking 2v2s in a like a 2D face-to-face fighting game. So like how you would normally call it an assist, it's 2v2, right?
Right.
But now it can be 2 people versus 2 people. So how you would normally call an assist, now that assist is your friend.
Right. Okay.
And they get to choose what assist moves they use. There's ways you can augment them as well. So there's augment systems to that 2v2 rule, where now maybe when he comes out, he gets to do 2 assist moves before he jumps back out. Or maybe when he comes out, you just fully switch out, and then he gets to do a combo, and then you can fully switch out again, rather than being to just one in the combo string. There's so many ways that you can augment the play style. There's so many ways that you can change it, and when you see it, like we're talking like combos with no half circles and quarter circle moves. We're talking revolutionizing the way people have been playing fighting games.
Okay, actual combinations.
It's looking wild, and the biggest thing, launching free to play.
Hey, love to see that. It's a lot. Everybody's taking that Xbox, right?
I mean, come on, man. Like, you may not have played Dragon Ball FighterZ. You may not play Street Fighter. There's no way you're gonna tell me you don't want to smash somebody's head in with Darius in a 2v2. There's no way you're gonna tell me. Yo.
That'll be lit. I mean, there's been some interesting fighters that have been coming out. I mean, what was it? You had Multiverses, the Nickelodeon Smash game, pretty much all the Smash clones.
Yeah, they just took offline.
Well, that was always apparently a beta.
Yeah, apparently. They said it was always a beta. I'm saying apparently.
Yeah, because I never was told that it was a beta. I never know you could actually sell things in a beta as well.
Yeah, crazy, right?
How can you buy characters in a beta?
So if you never bring this back, then what?
That, or are you bringing it back and am I going to still have my characters that I bought?
So many questions. So many liable for lawsuit opportunities.
I'm saying that made no sense there. I was like, wait, what?
But yeah, like free to play games. And you're right. This has been, in my opinion, this is the year for fighting games. Finally changed and revolutionized. Street Fighter's breaking records left and right. Tekken is looking like it's gonna just do numbers like it hasn't done in a long time. The new Mortal Kombat is a complete reboot and reimagined story. Like, we just got done with Dragon Ball FighterZ carrying the community all by itself. Now we're gonna have like the three big pioneers showing up in dirty work. It's like I'm excited. And we got Project L, which is gonna be brought to us by Riot, and we know Riot doesn't do anything if it's not polished. Like Valorant blew people's socks off, took all their numbers from League of Legends and more, and it's still rising to this day. And then we're gonna have a fighting game from those same. Oh no, we're gonna have people rocking our world with Ramas. Like it's gonna be crazy out here.
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. Ramas taunts everyone. That's gonna be crazy. Can't wait. Kazuya going off. Kazu's evolving on the scene.
Yeah.
You know, so it's gonna be lit.
Oh yeah, when you see that, you're gonna really like that. I think.
I know. We'll talk about it more. Go in more depth about it next time once I've looked into it and see.
That's really what I wanted to talk about. Like, do you think video games do you think fighting games are finally on their way back?
I would hope so. I mean, with the revival of this most recent Tekken, the new Street Fighter or whatnot. I mean, at least visually and everything, we're all up and up. But like you said, we kind of needed some different, some new things in fighting games. I feel like we did start taking steps back. Like I feel like we need to start going back to like like if we got Budokai Tenkaichi 4 coming out, that's gonna be we'll see what that hit like. But like I miss the ages of like wider open arena games where you like not even necessarily you need like a giant like open space where like you could fly around the whole world or whatever. But like back when like you can do like stage smashes where like smashing into a mountain and then drag his ass through the mountain and end up in the beach level and shit like that. Like, little shit like that.
Stage transitions,
yeah, stage transitions and all that. I mean, you remember that Naruto game we used to play on the Wii where like, you start at the freaking top of the fucking Hokage building and then like you could do a fucking super on somebody and end up in the fucking forest.
Not Clash of Ninja. What was it? Revolution. Clash of Ninja Revolution, I think is that what it was called. Oh man, those games were crazy, man.
And they really did like good aspects for the Wii as well for those super moves. Like you had to do like the motion controls to actually do more damage with your special. See what that was?
Yeah, I can remember that. Those games were ridiculous. Yeah, those were really good. Back in the day, we did have more fun games. Things were like oriented to be fun. Now things were fighting games started to shift around the time like. Yeah, they started to shift around the time like Evo really started to get bigger. They were like, yo, if we can make a good competitive game that can be like played for generations, and we can just keep making and iterating on titles, and we can make money off. And Bandai Namco hit gold with the Shippuden title, like that gameplay, that fighting style became really quickly competitive by its own niche community, and they tried to pioneer that for a while, and they never got it out of like that community that was in, but they really tried to pioneer it. And I think they struck gold with Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now it's just like, yo, we got another one. We don't need just Tekken anymore. We got another one, So they're just going to keep trying to, like, bring those things out. It's all about money, trying to find a decent fighting game money. But sooner or later, that fun margin is going to kick in. FighterZ is what did it. FighterZ was not only competitive, but really like the old Naruto and Dragon Ball Z games were not only competitive, but really fun to play. Broken stuff that we had that we knew about. There was broken stuff everywhere, but it was fun.
It was good times.
Sometimes you wanted to play the broken character.
Exactly. Everybody played a broken character.
Yeah. It's like, man, like we allow that in certain games. Others.
Like or being good enough to like whoop somebody's ass with Konohamaru Ninja Squad. It's like, yeah, now say something. Say something, bitch.
Say something now, big boy. Say something now, big boy. And like, yeah, man. It's just
like getting your ass put with Hercule in a Dragon Ball game. It's like, hey, yo, all right, you did it. You got it.
That's crazy. Another thing, like card games are starting to get bigger as well. The numbers for those things, like I think the people who have signed up for like Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments have risen up the last few years. Same thing for Magic. Like so those two things are trying to get up.
I mean, those have been popular for forever now. I mean, Magic is one of
if their numbers increase, that means more games are coming. Like right now, I think Magic is on mobile, like and PC. Like I think Magic the Gathering.
Yep, you can get digital, and I know I don't know if it's that. I think Pokemon is the one that has the digital as well. But at least with the Pokemon
Mm.
one, you can actually scan in your trading cards that you have, so you can actually have like your decks with you. You might
Oh
actually have
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
And
online
the
one. So
Dragon Ball Super one is coming out as well. Launching. They have a digital card game is launching as well. I think their main card game has been out for a while though. Yeah, it's just I think the reemergence of card games is going to be big, mainly because apparently everything nerdtastic is just financial now. People just like it more than they used to when we were growing up.
mm-hmm.
So they're just going to start seeing the reemergence and of old stuff. I think Digimon has a place somewhere too. I just don't think they're doing well right now.
Yeah, they're still trying to figure out their evolution system. I bet.
I don't know. I don't know. And then on this, every time I tried it, I'm like, they're just not pushing it far enough. Like they had these cyber hacker games that came out, and I liked them,
Those are really
and
good.
they were
Yeah.
kind of decent, yeah. And I was just like, but they're not innovating enough in between the titles. Like we needed like Persona 3 to Persona 4 type of, where
Mm-hmm.
it's the same concept, same idea, new presentation, and one, and one, and one on everything, rather than same thing, new story.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like you're
But then when
hurting
they
me,
did
man.
try to do different, they just went too far and was just like, hey, yo, chill out, y'all are doing too
You
much
know what
now.
I'm saying? It's like, man, I needed these games to just do a little bit more in between, to just to grow a little bit more. And it's like, don't even get me started with Pokemon. I fell out of love with Pokemon a long time ago. It feels like I'm playing the same games
Oh yeah, no, I
over
tried
and
to go
over
back and
again.
replay it. I'm like, any of the actual mainstays are pretty much yeah, like you said, the same game, and then even like the like different ones. Like I tried, what was it? Um, what's the one that you can actually like run around and uh like ride the Pokemon?
Uh, is that the newest one?
Not the Scarlet and Violet ones.
Hmm?
Which
You
one
can
is it?
actually run around. XD?
No.
No.
It's the 3D one on the Switch, I think. Um,
Switch. Mm.
it's like no fights.
No fights. What?
Yeah, so
So
like
Pokemon farmland out here?
essentially it's pretty much just like a Pokemon collector game. Like you go around and catch your main objective is to catch the Pokemon. It's a time before gyms and all that and badges.
Mm.
I forget the name of the Pokemon game, but like I start
Oh, Project Arceus was it called? And then it
no.
came out as Legends Arceus, right?
Yeah, Legends Arceus, that's it, yeah. Yeah, so that one was alright, for a little bit. I played it for a bit, but like once you get past like the first few biomes, you just realize you're just pretty much just running around collecting Pokemon and then yeah, that's it. It's like, okay, well this is literally a quarter of the fun now, so I'm gonna only play a quarter of this game. And that was all I did. And I was like, okay, I'm done with this. So
You
yeah,
know, they at least have like their side projects, or at least their side projects. Like I remember they had the Detective Pikachu game. They have Pokemon Unite, which is pretty much a MOBA Pokemon game.
Unite was
They even
actually
have
that
like
bad.
the
I actually kind
yeah,
of
and
fucked
people
with
still
Unite.
playing that now. Like, they fucking love that shit. Pokemon Cafe, that little cafe Pokemon game. Like they have a bunch of like niche games for people who like Pokemon. I'm okay with that. That's cool. You got other stuff you can play. Other people who like those games that can play it in the Pokemon universe. 10 out of 10. But the mainstay games, like the colored ones, the Pokemon Violet, Pokemon Scarlet, Diamond and Pearl, well, I guess now it's like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. It's the Sword and Shield, like they just feel like the same things as Red and Blue, the original.
Yep. Yeah,
And
nothing
like,
was much different
just like,
from Shining, Brilliant Pearl, and Shining Diamond or whatnot. So
I'm just like, I just can't do it anymore, man.
I
I
feel it.
just need more. But yeah, like, I just went a lot from I went a lot from that. But I have the reason I mentioned card games in general is because I've been playing a lot of them. I've gotten back into Magic System. Weird. I'm not putting money into it because the game is expensive as hell. Which is another thing for anybody listening. If you plan on getting it, they are very expensive. Make sure you listen to some guides about what you should buy and the best ways to really fund a decent deck to start playing the game if you want to go like a comic book store or something that has like card game nights and stuff. You want to start going to your local place, they'll give you great advice on how to build like a deck that doesn't cost you a whole bunch of money. Because these games, man, they ask you for a lot of money, bro. They ask you for a lot. Oh, sorry, I said your name. You got to cut that out.
What happened?
I said your name. You got to cut that out.
What you mean?
I said Brent.
Oh, it's fine.
Right. But they ask you for a lot of money, man. It's crazy. These card games ask you for a lot of money. And I just don't like it. I like playing them, but I don't like that.
Hobbies, especially like since they're like they have metas and everything. So like to have a viable deck that's gonna be like proficient. Like I heard somebody like where they would be best if instead of having these high profile cards that are gonna cost like an arm and a leg now to have a decent deck. You should have like two versions of cards, a rare version that's really just for the holographic visual effect, and then a common version of that same card, so that way the common player can still have a decent play of the games, and then it still keeps the value for that card, since that's still it's a 1 of 1 or whatever, how many you want to do, but it's just for that holographic version.
Yeah, and see, I think that's an issue that they definitely need to present in how they sell the card games to you. But I think in order just for them to sell the card games to more people, other than the people that are already playing them, they need to get like the fundamentals together. So like that issue that you just mentioned, Yu-Gi-Oh has that problem immensely right now, with the metas pretty much driving the way the community. But the meta isn't always the newest thing. Sometimes it's the newest thing mixed with some cards from like 20 years ago. And then that's when the price barrier becomes an issue. Because when those older cards then become worth something, not only are they old and you can price them up, now they're very valuable in the meta, you can price them. And that's the problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Old cards and new cards are all still relevant in the set. While as in a game like Magic, they have like these traditional set rules where it's like you can really only play in tournaments or in a certain game mode or traditional with the last 4 or 5 sets that have come out. Everything else before that is like almost like considered historic, and then those are in its own different play set that you can opt into playing or not. I like the fact that they segment things like that, so they're not pulling from a giant pool of like over 20,000 cards. Instead, it's a little bit smaller, so the barrier of entry is a little bit easier in Magic than Yu-Gi-Oh. In Yu-Gi-Oh, you have to have some knowledge on those cards because those things they never necessarily run out of play. They just come back when the meta reemerges with them. All of a sudden, you can run into Ojamas again. Still, man, could you imagine? Ojamas? Ojamas was cool when we was kids. You can still run into that with like just brand new cards that just make them even worse.
Oh my god!
Like, imagine somebody wanted to do that. They're paying an arm and a leg for some old Ojamas. But that's still they're fun. I just wanted to mention it to say it's a fun hobby. It's a new game that I'm getting into.
But it's expensive.
But man, they can be expensive.
Okay. All right, and thank you for joining us again for another episode of Geeked Out. Feel free to join us here on Spotify, as well as follow us on YouTube. We'll start doing shorts as well as possibly some video podcasts once we get all of our equipment up. But yeah, definitely check us out at the Geeked Out Podcast on Spotify and the Geeked Out Podcast on YouTube. Thank you. Catch you next time.